Hello dear students, welcome to class 12th business studies videos. We are doing consumer protection chapter and this is part 3 of this chapter. I hope you have seen part 1 and part 2 of the videos for this chapter. So the topics which we have covered till now are rights of consumers, responsibilities, reliefs, then who is consumer, who can file a case, against whom case can be filed. So today what we are going to do is we are going to do the 3-tier machinery under Consumer Protection Act. Now what do you mean by 3-tier is there are 3 judicial levels which are there where a consumer can go and file a case. That's why this is called as 3-tier machinery under Consumer Protection Act. We have district forum at district level, then state commission at state level, and then national commission at national level. And I want to tell you there is another name which is being used for them. Like for National Commission, the name is National Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. Similarly for State Commission also, the name is State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission. And for District Forum, the name is District Consumer Dispute Redressal Forum. But from the examination point of view, it is up to you whether you want to learn this name or this name. So even this short name is acceptable. So now I'll tell you what is the difference between these 3 judicial machineries and how consumer has to approach them. So the first is complaint value. When you're talking of complaint value, you have to see what is the value of goods or services in question along with the compensation claimed. So if the compensation claimed does not exceed 20 lakh, in that case you need to go directly to district forum. But if your complaint value exceeds 20 lakh but does not exceed 1 crore, in that case you will not go to district forum. In that case you will directly go to state commission. If your complaint value exceed 1 crore, in that case you have to directly go to national commission and not to the state and the district forum. So you need to remember that if you have to approach this judicial machinery, you need to know the complaint value which is there. Second is constitution, basically means who are there in these organizations or forums or commissions. So in district forum there is 1 president and 2 other members, one of whom should be a woman. In state commission, a president and not less than 2 other members, one of whom should be a woman. So what is difference between constitution and district and state commission? Here it is 1 president and 2 other members, so total 3. Here a president and not less than 2 other members means minimum 2, but there can be more also. So this is a slight difference between the constitution of district forum and state commission, which you need to remember. Then for national commission, there is a president and at least 4 other members, one of whom should be women. So again you need to remember at least means minimum 4 members apart from the president. So these members can be more than 4 also, but one of them should be women. Next is appointment. So who appoints these members and the president? So in district forum they are appointed by state government. In state commission they are also appointed by state government, but for national commission they are appointed by central government. Next is next redressal agency if not satisfied with the order. So what do you mean by this is, like you have filed a case and now you are not satisfied, can you go further? So what is the next redressal agency? So if you file a case in district forum and you are not satisfied, you can go to state commission, but you need to remember that there is a limit. Appeal before the next redressal agency should be made within 30 days of the passing of the order. So what do you mean by these 30 days is, if district forum has given the final order on a particular date, so within those 30 days you have to apply to the state commission. Otherwise you cannot take your complaint further and the decision given by that forum will be taken as final. Next is if you file the case in state commission and you are not satisfied, where you can go is national commission, but again the limit of 30 days has to be kept in mind. So within 30 days of passing order by state commission you have to apply to national commission. Now for National Commission, if somebody applied directly to National Commission but they are not satisfied with the decision, in that case they can go to Supreme Court. You know that who can directly apply to National Commission is when the complaint value is more than 1 crore, and if they are not satisfied with the decision of National Commission, they are only eligible to go to Supreme Court. But suppose a person applied to District Forum and he is not satisfied, he applied to State Commission and he is also not satisfied with the decision of State Commission, that person or consumer can apply to National Commission, and even if he is not satisfied with the order of National Commission, nothing can be done. The order given by National Commission will be final. So they can't go to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is only there for the cases of people who directly applied to National Commission. Next is procedure of handling grievance. So we will see that the procedure of handling grievance is same for all the three commissions. Now I am going to discuss the procedure of handling grievance. So this is a paragraph which explains how these commissions or forums will handle your complaint and give the final decision. So in order to explain this, I am giving you one example. Ram purchased an electric iron of XYZ company for rupees 2000 which was defective. He filed the case in appropriate forum. So can you first of all tell me what will be the appropriate forum? Whether he will go to District Forum, State Commission or National Commission? So answer is he will go to District Forum. So now how will District Forum handle the grievance? So I'll tell you how to remember this. So on receiving the complaint, the District Forum or Commission shall refer the complaint to the party against whom the complaint is filed. So can you tell me, Ram has filed a case against which company? The name of the company is XYZ. So the Commission will refer this case to XYZ company that a person by the name Ram has filed a case against you. So they are going to inform this company that some consumer has filed a case against you, and they will give all the details to XYZ Limited. If required, the goods or a sample thereof shall be sent for testing in a laboratory. So in some cases, they may send the goods or a sample to the laboratory for testing. So in this case, the electric iron can be sent to laboratory and they'll await the lab reports from that. The Commission shall pass an order. So you have to remember that the final order will be passed by Commission after considering two things. One is the laboratory reports, and second is after hearing the party against whom complaint is filed. Consumer has filed a case against XYZ Limited, so they will hear to what XYZ Limited has to say on this, and after hearing their viewpoint and the lab reports, the Commission is going to pass a final order. So if you remember these three things, like first they will refer to the case to the party against whom case is filed, then laboratory reports, final order will be passed after lab reports and after hearing the party against whom complaint is filed. So this procedure of handling grievance is same for District Forum, State Commission and National Commission. Now let us revise. So you have to find out the redressal forum which will be applicable in following cases where the claim is of 45 lakh. So in that case, they have to go to State Commission. When the claim is of 1 crore, again State Commission, because the people having claim more than 1 crore can go to National Commission, but up to 1 crore they can go to State Commission. Next is claim of 20 lakh. They can go to District Forum. Then claim of 1 crore 20 lakh. So it exceeds 1 crore. They have to directly go to National Commission. Claim of 7 lakh. So they have to go to District Forum. So according to the complaint value, it can be decided that in which forum or commission consumer has to directly go and file a case. Now you can see this question. I'll read it out for you, but I told you we have to first read the question. Can Himanshu appeal against the decision of State Commission? Give reasons in support of your answer. Himanshu purchased a new car from Galaxy Motors for 25 lakh. He was offered free insurance for first year and 3 free services to be availed after the car has covered 5,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers and 15,000 kilometers respectively. When Himanshu took the car for first free servicing, he was told that car was not new and the first service has already been availed on this car. He felt cheated and filed a case in State Commission. Being not satisfied with the decision of State Commission, after 2 months he decided to file a appeal against it. So you need to remember is that when is he filing the case? He filed the case to State Commission, but after 2 months he realized that no, he is not satisfied. He'll file case to the next commission which is there, that is National Commission. But can Himanshu appeal against the decision of State Commission to the next forum? The answer is no. And the reason is appeal before the next redressal agency can be made within 30 days of passing order. But you can see here it is written is that he decided to file a case after 2 months. So he'll not be allowed to file the case. Now you are aware of concept of consumer protection. So according to Consumer Protection Act 1986, consumer protection means protecting and promoting the interest through speedy and inexpensive redressal of grievances. It refers to protection of consumer against unfair practices by producers or traders, and you already know what type of unfair trade practices are there, like adulteration, substandard quality, overcharging, making misleading claims in the advertisement. So consumer protection ensures consumer to be protected against all such unfair trade practices. And the essence of consumer protection is curbing such practices through legislative and other measures. So we have done the legal machinery which is there, where you can go and file case and how can you get the relief. So the next topic is importance of consumer protection. This we are going to do under 2 heads, from consumer's point of view and from business point of view. So first we are going to do it from the point of view of consumer. The first point is consumer ignorance. So why consumer protection is important is because consumers are ignorant. They are still not aware of their rights, what are the reliefs available. So till the time they are educated for same, it is very important to protect the interest of consumers. Next is unorganized consumers. So why consumer protection is important from consumers' point of view is because consumers are not yet organized in India. In India, we do have some consumer organization which are working in this direction, but right now they are not very powerful. They don't have the government backing, they don't have funds with them, so they are not able to do something very prominent in area of consumer protection. Third is widespread exploitation of consumer. So do you all agree, students, that in our country there are a lot of unfair trade practices going on and consumers are exploited, where they are getting a defective or unsafe product, they are facing adulteration, they are seeing false and misleading advertisements, then there is hoarding, black marketing. So consumer need to be protected against these exploitation which is widespread in our country. So that's why consumer protection is important in our country from consumers' point of view. Now let us do it from the point of view of business. Why business should protect consumer? So the first point is long-term interest of business. You know that if you want to earn profit in long run, the only way out is profit maximization through customer satisfaction. So the businesses which are taking care of the consumers' interest and they are not exploiting them, they are getting repeat sales, and their customers are also giving good feedback about the business to the other customers also. So such type of businesses which take care of interest of customers, they are the business which are going to get profits in long run. So that's why it is important that business should take care of the interest of customers. Second is business uses society's resources. So can you tell me what type of resources are required for doing business? You need money, machine, raw material. So everything, all the resources what you need in your business, they are provided by society. So it is your responsibility that whatever goods and services which you are producing, they are there to protect the interest of consumers in particular and public in general. Social responsibility. So children, we have done this in class 11th also, that business has certain social responsibilities. So business has social responsibilities towards different interest groups like employees, government, society, employees, and out of all these stakeholders, the most important stakeholder is consumer, and business should take care of the interest of the customers as well. Next is moral justification. So it is a moral duty of any business to take care of consumer interest and avoid any form of exploitation. So business should not indulge in any unfair trade practices, and it is morally not right where you are indulging in all such unfair trade practices to earn profit for your business. Next is government intervention. A business engaging in any form of exploitative trade practices would invite government intervention or action, and we all know when government is intervening or taking some action, those actions will tarnish the image of the business. So if business is not taking care of the interest of consumers, government may impose some fine, or they may tell you to shut down your business. So all these intervention from government sides are very costly. They also impact the image of the company. So it is very important that business should avoid these government intervention and take care of the interest of consumers. So we have done this importance from the point of view of consumers. So there are 3 points, and from the point of view of business there are 5 points. If in exam the question comes that what is importance of consumer protection, suppose it is here for 4 marks, so I would advise you to write 2 from the point of view of consumer and 2 from the point of view of business. Don't write only from the point of view of business. It is always better that you write for both, unless it is mentioned that you have to write the importance of consumer protection from either consumer's point of view or business point of view. Next is role of consumer organizations and NGOs. So I told you there are a lot of NGOs which are working in field of consumer protection and educating consumers about their rights, reliefs and other things. And this is the picture of NGO called as Voice. They are actively participating in educating consumers and spreading consumer awareness. There are certain other popular consumer organizations like Common Cause Delhi, then Consumer Guidance Society of India, Mumbai, Citizen Action Group, Mumbai, then Consumer Education and Research Center, Ahmedabad, then this is CUTS, Consumer Unity and Trust Society. So you should remember 3-4 names of the NGOs which are working in the field of consumer awareness. Now we are going to do what are they doing, what are these consumer organization and NGOs doing, what is their role and in which area are they working. So the first point is educating the general public. So they are educating the general public about consumer rights, and they are organizing various workshops, seminars. They are making consumer aware of their rights, responsibilities, judicial machinery. Second is publishing periodicals and publications. So they have certain magazines and columns where they are regularly publishing consumer problems, legal reporting, relief available, and the other matters of interest to the consumers. So this is one of the magazine, The Aware Consumer. So by publishing these periodicals and magazines, they are making people aware of all the issues related to consumer protection. Next is carrying out comparative testing of consumer product in accredited laboratories and to test relative qualities of competing brands and publishing the test result for the benefit of consumer. Now what do you mean by comparative testing is they will take out a sample of different types of product in the market and they will send those samples to the laboratory, and whatever test results are there, they are going to publish it so that all the customers can see the test results or the laboratory results, and then they can take a wise decision as to which product is best out of that. So like you can see this picture, they have done a comparative testing of various mixed fruit juices and drinks of different brand, and they publish it so that consumers can read it and they come to know the reality. Next is encouraging consumers to strongly protest and take action. They encourage all the consumer that if you're facing any exploitative or unfair trade practice, you must file a case. Next is providing legal assistance to the consumers. So sometimes consumers are not aware of how to file a case and all, so they do give legal advice as to how they can file a case and go ahead with a particular problem which the consumer is facing. Next is filing a complaint in an appropriate court on behalf of consumer. So sometimes consumers are illiterate or they are not in a condition to file a case, so these NGOs do file complaint on their behalf. Next is taking an initiative in filing cases in court in the interest of general public and not for an individual. Now what do you mean by this is sometimes there are some problems which are faced not by one individual but large individuals in a particular area, so they take an initiative and they file a case in such case. You need to remember one more important thing from this chapter. This is Latin phrase caveat emptor, translates to let the buyer beware. This expression basically means that the person who purchased the product had no recourse if they were injured by a faulty product or service. So buyers should be aware of what goods and services he is buying. The buyer should be aware, but this approach is being replaced by caveat venditor. So caveat venditor, this phrase means let the seller beware. So earlier it was let the buyer beware and now it is let the seller beware. So now society demanded that manufacturers should be held responsible for any injuries the product injuries or any loss which is faced by consumer due to defective product or deficient services. This all happened because of competition, and now consumers have more choice, and due to this the earlier concept of caveat emptor is being replaced by caveat venditor. So the last topic of this chapter is consumer protection has wide agenda. So if you talk of scope of Consumer Protection Act, it has a wide scope, it has a wide agenda, and why it has wide agenda is you will write the following points. First is coverage of items. It covers all goods and services unless it is exempted by government. Coverage of sectors. It covers all the sectors, whether private sector or public sector. Compensatory nature of provision means that this act is in nature of compensating for the loss or injury suffered to the consumer. And fourth is it has group of consumer rights. You already know the 6 rights which are there. Then it provides effective safeguard against defective product also, services also, unfair trade practices also. So everything is covered under this act, and it provide a complete safeguard to the consumers. And sixth is there is a 3-tier grievance redressal machinery, and that you know is district forum, state commission and national commission. So if you are not satisfied with the decision given by district forum, you know that you can go to state commission. Again, if you are not satisfied, you can go to national commission. And then Consumer Protection Act ensures that all the redressals are given within a limited time period and the case is settled. And it also ensures that apart from NGOs, there should be consumer protection councils which take care of the interest of the consumers. So this answer you have to write if the question comes that why consumer protection has a wide agenda, or what is the scope of consumer protection. So if you want to get the details of what explanation you can write, you can check our blog. I will share the link at the end of this video. So let us recap the topics which we have done in this chapter. So we have done rights of consumers, responsibilities of consumers, reliefs available to consumer, then the 3-tier judicial machinery, then importance of consumer protection we have done from the point of view of consumer as well as from the point of view of business. Then we have done role of consumer organizations and NGOs, then who is consumer, who can file a case, and against whom case can be filed. So all these are the main topics of this chapter. This is a blog which I was telling you about. The name of this blog is www.bstclass12.blogspot.com. Please go through this blog. You will find lot of questions, case studies and other reference material in this blog. Now the mind map. I hope all of you remember that in our class 11th also, after the completion of chapter, we used to make a mind map. So I want all of you to make the mind maps, and you know that in mind map you are only going to write the main headings. So this is a way your mind map can be made, or I told you it should not be there in the printed form. You can make it with your hand. Just take a register paper and put paper horizontally, and you can make a mind map, and you can write the all the headings which are covered in this chapter. I wish you all a happy learning. Bye.